Welcome to the Chris and Jalen Show, presented by Just Cash Clothing and the Empower Sportsnet. I am your host, Chris Arzola.
I'm your co-host, Jalen Chapman.
Our special guest today is Star DB from Oregon University, Jevon Holland. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. So we usually start off our show with an empowered moment, right? So, usually what this means is, we usually ask for a story or even someone that has empowered you in your life, or or you can also tell a story that, if you empowered someone else in their life, you can tell that story as well. But please give us like a story, please.
I think I have two quick examples, one of each, how I empowered somebody and somebody empowered me. So
Cool.
last year going into the season, we were kind of looking for our leaders on the team, and basically we had a new defense, new DC, didn't really know, who was going to step up. And I was a freshman the year before, so I kind of, I was already known as one of the guys in the secondary. And my defense coordinator, Andy Avalos, who's now the head coach at Boise State, he kind of came to me privately and was like, "Look, this is somebody, you're somebody that we see as a leader, somebody that is, heavily outspoken and heavily talented. So this is your team, and it's time for you to kind of take control of that." And at that moment, I felt empowered. Like you said, I felt empowered, and I took that, and ran with it, and kind of just guided the team in the way that Coach Cristobal and the other coaches, would like me to, but also in the way that I felt like, we needed to go. And then, along with empowering somebody, I didn't play this year. I decided to opt out.
Yeah.
And so my young bull, Jamal Hill, who's from Atlanta, he's wears number 19, plays nickel. Okay. I told him, like, look, it's time for you and Rome Kim. I told them both. I'm like, look, this is your time, because I'm not there no more. So they need somebody. They need an older figure, somebody who's been there, who knows the system, who can speak out and has respect to the other players. They need somebody to lead them. And so that's one of y'all two, or both of you at the same time. Like, it really don't matter. But you guys need to, kind of take control. And so this year you can see that on the field, how they're calling the defenses, speaking out like that. They really took control of that.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that is really cool. Like, I mean, you go from you being the person, to then now you're empowering other people to be like, hey, like, listen, like they passed it down to me. I already did my thing. Now it's you guys, it's your turn. So that, I can respect that. I appreciate that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Jevon, can you tell us about a little about where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Canada, Vancouver, BC. Okay. I was, West Coast, born in Canada. I was there because my pops, he played in the CFL and he coached there also. So that's why we were up there. Me and my sister were born in Canada. My brother was born in America, but me and her have dual citizenship. So I was born there, and then I ended up moving out of Canada in 2008 to Fremont, California, in the Bay Area. I've been growing up in the Bay Area ever since. 2 years after moving to Fremont, we moved to Pleasanton. We've been to Pleasanton ever since. Almost the same house. We just recently moved again, but still in the same Pleasanton area. So I've been in the Bay Area basically my whole life. Raised in the important years of when you're really defined as a person and where you get your morals and your values from. So yeah.
How'd you get into football?
Like I said, my pops played football, right? So my dad played football, and then my brother played football, and then I was like, all right, I guess that's what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom even coached my brother when he was a kid. It's like she had her own team and she was a head coach. So
wow.
Facts. So it's just been in our blood for a long time, and so I wanted to be I see my brother, my dad play football. I'm like, bro, I want to do that better than them. And what I mean, that's part of some of my biggest motivation is trying to catch my brother, because my brother's 4 years older than me, so it's he's just out of reach, but he's close enough where I can still chase him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been a part of football. That's always been my life. I didn't get to play football until I came to America though. So I turned 10 because there was I guess it was just the rules of the age group, whatever. But I wanted to play football when I was 4. I was running around ready. So
yeah. Who'd your dad play for?
So first he had a short stint with the Niners. 82, 83 or something like that.
Okay.
And then he went to BC, or he went to Edmonton. He won 2 Grey Cups, which is the Super Bowl.
Yep. Oh yeah. CFL. Yeah.
So he won 2 Grey Cups with Edmonton. Then he went to the Lions. and he played for a couple years with the Lions, and he ended up just transitioning into being a D court or a DC or a DB coach.
Okay.
And he was a special teams coach, and then he ended up retiring from coaching and started personal training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how'd you end up at Oregon?
It was kind of an interesting process. So, like, they had offered me, not even late. It was like in the middle. It was like January, probably my junior year. I was like going into 7-on-7, things like that. And I got a call from Coach Hayward, and he took a while, like way longer than anybody else, to offer me because he like, I want to get to know you and I want to talk to you. If you know Coach Hayward, you know he like talks with a super soft voice on the phone. He'd be like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Like, I just want to." Yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, doing, man? I just want to get to know you. I'm not out here giving offers to nobody. To just anybody. You know, you gotta earn these." I'm like, "All right, bro." Like, in my head, I got other offers, right? So I'm like, bro, like whatever. Like, I'm not. If you don't offer me, I'm gonna just go somewhere else. Yeah. So then like probably like 2 or 3 months later, it's around May-ish. It's like probably like the end of April. I'm going to Best of the West, right? Which is like a big 7-on-7 tournament in LA. Yeah. My boy Steve Stevens, he was playing with DB Guru, which is 7-on-7 team out of Fresno. Me and Steve kind of talked a little bit because he also got an offer from Oregon. And Coach Hayward had told me like, look, I need you two to play safety. And other than that, like I'm straight in terms of my recruiting. So I'm like, all right, like I'm not gonna sign to that. So I ended up talking to Steve because I know of him, but not really know him. Yeah. I'm talking to Steve, just trying to get to know him, things like that. And then we get down to Best of the West. And so me and Steve playing each other. I'm playing receiver, of course, because that's my natural position. So I'm low key giving it to Steve. I'm low key, low key. But anyway, he has this whole little ceremony thing at Best of the West. He ends up committing to Oregon there. And so I'm like, damn, like Steve committed to Oregon. That's my dog at that point. Yeah. I'm like, I call Hayward. I'm like, yo, Steve just committed. You're
like, what's up?
I had already visited like everybody else. I already visited UCLA. SC didn't want to offer me because they said I wasn't league ready already, which I was like, what? Yeah, it didn't even make sense.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's cool. That's cool.
It's cool.
I was looking at Washington, but I just didn't really like the feel of Washington and Washington State and all the Pac-12 schools. And so I was like, I already visited everywhere I was gonna go. And then I was like, all right, like I'm kind of feeling Oregon, right? And so I told my dad, we're driving on the way home. We're driving like that night up to the Bay, and so I'm telling him like, honestly, I'm just gonna commit to Oregon. He's like, oh, Oregon, that's the place. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've been everywhere else, and Coach Hayward's like the guy. Steve's going up there. I got other homies going. I'm like, might as well, like, let's do it. He's like, this is the place. I'm like, yeah. And then my brother didn't get any offers out of high school. He had to go JUCO, right? But growing up, his favorite school was Oregon. So in the back of my head, like subconsciously, I was like, okay, this is still, you know what I mean? This is still like going for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
of course.
Yeah, bro. I was like, let's do it. Like, so I called Taggart at the time. He was the head coach. Yeah. How things turned out. And Hayward, and I was like, I texted the group chat. I'm like, yo, I'm committing tomorrow at 12. Yeah. And then I had somebody make like an edit. Actually, I think I made the edit for my like little. It's like, it was like a top 18. I swear I made it on Snapchat. Oh God, bro. It was like a top 18, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just put it out right now. It was like 12 a.m. I got home. I put it out like top 18. Committing tomorrow at 12. And then everyone was like, oh, like, whoa. I woke up, my phone was blowing up. Coach was texting me, you commit? You're gonna commit? Interviews. Like, if you don't know I'm committing, then I'm not committing to you. That's how it is. And so I put the thing out, 12 came, and I was like in the quad at lunch. All my homies was like, you gonna commit? I'm like, I put all my little like Oregon stuff in the locker. And I came out, Oregon hat on, Oregon sweatshirt, committed. It was like, oh, no.
Done deal.
Posted on Twitter, and I was getting hella hate. I was getting so much hate, bro.
Oh.
Notre Dame. Somebody from Notre Dame. I don't even know if it was like an actual
fan base was crazy.
Notre Dame called me. Crazy, bro. They called me. They was like,
your information is crazy.
They was tripping, bro. They was like, you look phony, committing right after. I'm like, bro. Like,
what? Oh, that's straight hate. Yeah. They mad because they wanted you. That's why they wanted you to be there. That's why. So
yeah, he was tripping though for calling me that. And like, I'm like, bro, I'm a 17-year-old kid. You calling me talking crazy, grown ass man? Dog.
Yeah. That's
So that's the story of how I got to Oregon.
No, that's definitely an in-depth experience for sure. That's crazy how it all worked out. So
Yeah, no doubt.
Worked out. Good.
you know, so obviously you went there, right? So now, what was your experience like when you got there? What was your experience like throughout the entire time that you have been there? You know,
So as soon as I got there, it was like the summertime, right? So you're trying to get a feel for it. You get there. We got there with like the soccer team, the volleyball team, baseball, basketball.
Yeah.
So we kind of, we're freshmen.
Yeah.
Saying, young brother, trying to figure it out. Like,
mingling.
Good time.
Man, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then the game started happening, right? This is when everything started, really speeding up. So the game started happening. So I'm like, so I get there, learn the playbook and everything. I start balling in practice. I end up earning a starting job. Some starting and everything like that. And so we played 3 games with no fans. And then the 4th game is the Stanford game. That's with the fans, right? So we played 3 games. I had my first pick. Then the second game I got my first pick. 3rd game I got another pick. And I'm like, all right. I'm kind of on a high horse at this point. I'm like, all right, I'm balling right now. And then we get to the 4th game. Fans are there. So this is my first time with the actual student, not fans, but students. And so student section is packed
crazy. They go be going crazy.
Yeah. We came out there, it's like 65,000 strong. I'm like, plus we're playing
It's loud as hell. It's like a little ball. That's just crazy.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
it's like
really
you about to fall down. Yeah.
Yes, bro. It's really crazy up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is a vibe. Like I like this.
Yeah.
We played Stanford. We ended up taking an L, and then we went to Cal and played Cal, and that's when I got 2 picks. And so we come back on Monday. And so, this is when I really felt the experience of being a football player on campus. So we come back on Monday, right? I'm going to class. My classes are, all throughout the campus. So I got to walk through. So I know I just got 2 picks in the game. And I know everybody was watching the game. So I'm walking around, hoodie off, no hat on purpose. Even though it's a little nippy, because it's Oregon. On purpose, I'm walking around. And I'm seeing people looking at me like, hey, hold on. I'm like, oh, it's good. What's good? What's good? You know what I mean? And that's when I felt it. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, all right.
I'm here. I made it. I'm good.
I was like, I've arrived.
This is why I chose here. You know what I mean? This is why I chose here. So yeah.
Good college experience, especially going to a big university.
Facts.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So you were there for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years.
2 years. This year would have been your 3rd year. So then that's why that makes you eligible, right, to enter into the NFL draft, because technically this would have been your 3rd year at there, right? So
yeah, you got to be removed from high school for 3 years.
For 3 years, yeah, makes sense.
What made you make the decision to declare?
Man, it was a difficult decision, definitely. But all in all, I felt I was physically ready. I was mentally ready.
Okay.
Emotionally ready. I could take on, whatever the NFL held. But I decided to I was like, this is my time. I've been saying 3 years and I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I wanted to play this year, but I didn't want to get sick. I didn't want to affect my health more than less than I wanted to play.
Yeah.
Because I value my health over anything.
Of course.
And so that was the main thing. It was difficult. I had to talk to my coaches, talk to my teammates, and they supported me too. It wasn't just they were like, oh no, you're catting on us or anything like that. They're like, nah, bro, we understand. If we were in your position, we would do the same thing. And a lot of coaches said that too. They were like, if we were in your position, we do the same thing, man. So, but I was upset I didn't get to play. I was upset that there wasn't a regular season. It was it was like a mangled season, which was
really weird. Yeah, it was really weird, especially for Pac-12. I mean, it makes sense because they were so late compared to everybody else, So
even though we were back to back still, so
yeah.
But they don't have an asterisk on the little sign thing though for the Pac-12 championship. Sorry though, still a dub, but yeah, no, it was difficult, but I just felt like I was ready.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though, but you got to also remember at any time, at any portion. You're about to be in the mecca of all meccas, right? Getting to the NFL. So, but a lot of people don't get there, right? So you also got to realize how small that window is. You know what I mean? So take advantage of it, like you said. Yeah. So that's why they supported you, absolutely, because your window, right, is so small, and the work that you're putting in on a daily basis, bro. A lot of people can't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that window is even shorter, and so man, absolutely, and that's awesome that your teammates and family and friends and coaches, everybody supported you because honestly, that's the right thing. That's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Especially like I said, your window is real short, so take advantage of that. So
it was really encouraging too, like having everybody like, no, dude, like go chase your dream.
absolutely.
I mean, it's like a life, you know what I mean? It's a lifelong dream. Like I've been like, since I was a kid, like, what do you want to be when you grow up in first grade on the little paper?
Right.
I'm like NFL. That's all I got. Like
exactly.
You know I mean? So that's it. Like I just being in the NFL. I just want to get the call. Like anything else after getting the call to being in the NFL. It's peaches and plums at that point. I'm chilling. Like I'm in the league, bro. Like what do you?
Yes, sir.
I achieved the dream. Yeah, come on now.
Exactly. No, absolutely. So, so switching to that now, will you be having a pro day then now? Because obviously, no Columbine, right? Or it's a little different now. So, will you having a pro day?
Yeah. So I have they switched our pro day to like April 2nd. Usually, like last year, it was actually around like. It was a little bit early. It was a lot earlier, actually.
Okay.
March. It was like around March because we didn't have we didn't go home yet because COVID got locked down, but we weren't in spring ball yet. And I remember that because we were all at the pro day when Justin was throwing the ball and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was like at least like a couple days before they shut everything down. So yeah, it was in like March, kind of after the combine last year, but. This year they just pushed it super far back, which is even better because longer to train, you get longer.
Hey, absolutely, more time.
You gotta kind of like time everything right, so you don't peak at the wrong time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a whole process, but yeah, we're having a pro day this year.
Awesome. And what have you been doing to get ready for that pro day?
So I'm training with Proactive at the Mark. It's partnered with Athletes First here in Santa Ana. Yep. It's like they're Athletes First private training facility and everything like that. Right on top of where I'm living in an apartment building. So it's like an apartment building. Perfect. Right on top of that is the Mark, which is, it's the Mark is part of, right on top of that is the training facility. Yeah. Upstairs on the roof. Yeah. It's real nice, bro.
No, I heard of it actually. So I actually tried, when I first came down here, one of the things that I was doing actually was to be a sports agent. So I actually worked a little bit alongside with Athletes First. Because I went to school right there in Irvine, right? So their office is right down the road. So I do know some people that are in there, and yeah, they make sure that you're set, to make sure that you're gearing up to get yourself ready for what you need, for what's important. So
absolutely,
yeah, shout out Athletes First for sure. So
walk upstairs, train,
right?
So I wake up, bro. Train at 9. I wake up at like 8:50. Eat some oatmeal on the way up.
I feel you. But do you know anything about like financial literacy?
Yes and no. I'm not super in depth about financial literacy. I know how to save my money, don't spend too much. You know what I'm saying? Pay myself first, which is like put in my savings account, and then I could buy what I want. But I don't know too much about it.
Well, yeah, like I was telling my brand about financial literacy. I want to teach like basically everyone, not just young people, but like everyone basically needs to know about some financial literacy wise, like save their money, where to put their money, make the money work for you, about like real estate and like just like little hacks in there, like how you can get like basically your house paid off by just buying like getting a loan and then basically renting it out to somebody and you basically get that plus some. So like that, like stocks. It's like Dogecoin and GameStop and all that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They locked my Robinhood account and everything. It's crazy. But,
it's not really a free market.
Yeah,
it's not. You saw this week. It really is not. It really is not. Free market, bro. When you're taking money from people that are then that's why. That's all I'm gonna say. That is all I'm gonna say. Hey, trust me, I know because I have Robinhood and I'm always on that. And bro, like they were shutting us down. Like I wasn't even doing anything crazy. I'm just saying in general, like they just shut everything down. Period.
Yeah, my brother has the same thing. He called me. He's like, bro, I literally can't invest anymore. Like I can't. I was like, bro, honestly, they don't care. Like what's crazy is that I was just talking to this one dude on Twitter. He was like DMing me hella time, so I decided to respond. He's like, you need to invest all your money in stocks, right? So then this thing happened with GameStop and everything. So I hit him back. I'm like, so bro, like, what if I invest all my money and then they end up just shutting the entire stock market down? Then what do I do with all my money? It's in stocks and they just take it all away. Like, what can I do? He's like, honestly, I have no information about that. Like, I can't. I'll get back to you. I'm like, bro.
There's certain like little settings you can use, like you don't go down that much, so you can't lose all your money, or like you can only go down a certain amount.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like you up like 15,000. You can set like a mark to where it stops losing money at like 2,000 or something. So it depends. You gotta know what you're doing, basically.
You do,
Yeah.
because like I was, I was talking to my brother the other day. He's actually your guys' age and stuff. So, I was talking to my brother the other day, and he didn't realize kind of what was going on with the stocks too. And I kind of had to explain to him like, hey, like you got to be careful because you don't want to lose all your money because you could just like, you know what I mean? Like if you don't pay attention to it, bro, like it'll just be gone. You know what I mean? Like, and you lost out because you didn't pay attention to it. So I always try to pay attention to my money, and I'm sure obviously you're getting yourself into, contracts and different things like that. So I'm sure that you're going to have someone that's going to take care of your money. I'm sure. So, and I'm sure that person will absolutely inform you. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be pretty aware of financial literacy pretty soon here, I would say, for sure. So,
Financial advisor.
Jalen, call him up.
Facts. I got one. Like,
yeah.
Blue Kangaroo.
Absolutely.
Lifeline.
Yep. No, absolutely. So I want to jump to mental health. So, another part of our show, not only hits, financial literacy, empowering people, but we also hit mental health. And so as far as mental strength, right? So mental strength, is this an area that you see yourself constantly having to work on, as you progress through life and, new goals and new obstacles come your way?
Absolutely. I think that's a major part of being a student athlete. Or even a college athlete, period. Like mental strength is important because you can break everything. A lot of athletes, their mood, their emotions, everything is based off of how much they're playing, how they're doing in their sport. So if you're like just getting dogged in your sport, or if you're trash, or if you're losing, then your mental stability is going to be up for grabs. You know what I mean? It's going to be shaky at best.
Yeah.
And I think mental strength is definitely something that is big on for me personally. Just kind of like a neutral to positive self-talk to make sure that I'm always thinking about the facts and what I can and can't control. Because if I'm worried about something that I can't control, then that's just unneeded stress on my body.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I always focus on things that I can control, and if I can't control it, then it's like, hey, it is what it is at that point, and keep it pushing.
Here's what it is.
No, definitely.
Controllables.
Yeah,
that's it.
That it is what it is motto, like
it's true. Like
it just relieves so much stress off my body. I'm like, hey, fuck it, honestly, like it is what it is.
No, and the thing is, you have to realize that this time that you guys are going through is way different than any other time that any other people have really gone through. Like, you know what I mean? You said your dad played in the league in the 80s. He didn't have social media, right? You know what I mean? He didn't have all these different things that, all these people probably coming his way, like, like you might have, you know what I mean? Or like you already had, right? So like you're saying, man, so I feel like athletes or anybody nowadays, like you said, like I feel like mental strength is something that you always have to work on. And now, especially something that someone that's getting higher and higher and higher and higher, like you are, right? I feel like that's something that you always have to work on, right? You know what I mean? Because someone's always going to be trying to do something to, like you said, to get in your head, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Hell, people might even try to get in your head on the field. You know what I mean? That's something that you got to be like, nah, you're gonna get in my head, bro. I'm about to get in your head. You know what I mean? Right. So. Yeah, so no, I think mental health and mental strength is a huge thing for athletes in general, period.
Yeah. To your point about like getting higher and higher, like getting a lot of money, for example, like everybody in the draft, like they're gonna get some type of money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like some of them are gonna have family members come to them and like, I need this and I need this and I need this, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason why a lot, like 80% of athletes go broke, because they want to be able to help the community, because they've seen that, their struggle through their whole life. Yeah. But without, like you said, Jay, without financial, literacy, it's like, how do you help them while also, creating revenue for yourself? Absolutely. And, also giving, some to them, but helping them create revenue for themselves also. So yeah, I think that's all really important.
Bro. And we've seen that you took a lot of time out your day for like peaceful protests during the little Black Lives Matter protests. You think that was very important for you?
Yeah, I think that's huge for me. I was really moved by everybody, coming together. The entire world was basically protesting at one point.
Absolutely.
And so I felt like I needed to be a part of that. I was thinking in my head one day, like, 50 years down the line, I'm gonna look back. I'm gonna have my kids, my grandkids sitting next to me, and they're gonna be like, "Well, where were you during this time?"
What you
And
do,
I'm gonna be like,
man?
"I was in the mix. I was in
Yeah.
that shit." You know what I mean? Like I was
doing
you know what I'm saying? Like I was in the mix. I
Yeah.
was speaking my
Oh,
voice. People
frontliners.
were listening to me. So like I felt really empowered. I felt really empowered to speak up because I had a platform to do so. Like with Oregon, the building that I had gotten changed. Like I personally didn't get it changed, but because I spoke up about it, a lot of people came to like, whoa, hold on now.
Yeah.
We need to change that because that's something that has just been there dormant. Like, and that's what I think a lot of the issues are, is that there's racist things and mannerisms, but they're so common knowledge that no one even like questions it because that's just how life is.
Yeah.
But when people are empowered and speak up and feel moved like I did about racial injustice, then these things come to light and they end up changing.
Yeah. But when did you realize like you had like a voice in like being a public figure and everybody looking up to you and using it for better?
So in high school, actually, it was like me, our fullback Chris Lucas, 2 cheerleaders, and one guy on the basketball team. We had this thing called the Dragon Talk, which was like the first one ever held. But it was right when Colin Kaepernick had started taking a knee. And so I was like, I'm taking a knee. You know what I mean? Like that's right. I'm taking a knee. On God. So like down there, my whole football team took a knee, right? And so my head coach, which is crazy, he like stood off way to the side or whatnot because he didn't understand. He didn't know how to help us, but also play defense because he's also has to get paid and everything like that. And so I can understand how that was difficult for him. So I took it upon myself to talk to our principal and to have basically a Dragon Talk, like I said, basically like a TED Talk or like a whatever. So everybody came to the theater, and it was me and my 5 colleagues, like I said, sitting on the stage, and they was just like asking us questions about how we felt about it, how what our viewpoint is sitting in America, as seniors in high school about to go into college as Black people. Like, what are your stances? Like, how does this affect you? Why is it so important to you? And that's when I felt it, but I didn't really like see it until I went to Oregon and I got on Twitter. And like anything like police brutality, I would just quote it and say something. I'd be like, "This is like disgusting. This is sick,"
Yeah.
And then people were underneath the comments were like, "I agree." Da 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 da. Started getting more and more retweets, more likes, and basically like people supporting me, like, "Hey, keep speaking up, keep doing this." And I was getting a lot of DMs from fathers and mothers of Black people, of white people, saying of all races, saying, "I love what you're doing. Keep using your voice. Keep using your voice." So I kind of just built me up to the point where I am now, and I just rest is history. So now I just feel empowered. Whenever I see something, I damn near gotta speak up about it because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree, and I think that's where we're at right now with everything. Is that I think we need to start informing people about stuff, right? You know what I mean? About like saying, hey, like I mean, like you said, because a lot of times no one says anything because, like you said, it's like no one said anything because they thought it was part of life, but like that ain't part of life. Like that's not how life should be. You know what I mean? And so now we need to start informing people and be like, nah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like not informing people in the right way, not necessarily getting crazy about stuff. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I everything that's happening is not cool by any means. This is absolutely horrible and everything like that. But, I think it's our time as a generation to inform all the other people, what's going on about like, hey, like this ain't right. Like, and speak up for it. Like, it's always been where people had opinions, but they never really addressed it because they didn't have social media. Now everyone has social media. So now everybody has opinions, right? And now if you're using those opinions or you're using your platform correctly, like how you are, you can see the benefits from it, right? And so, I mean, you're one person. So imagine if more people keep doing that, right? You know what I mean? We just keep building on it. This ain't a movement. This is a lifestyle that people need to understand. Like, you know what I mean? That this is not how it should be, and this is not how it's going to be. Period. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, I keep using your platform, bro, for real.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
so. And I'll keep supporting you. Not even a question. So,
appreciate that.
Absolutely. Jalen, you got anything else?
That's about it.
So yeah, I wanted to kind of wrap it up a little bit and stuff. I wanted to thank you, Jevon, for coming on. This was incredible. To have you here. Before your big day. Before you get into the NFL. So I appreciate you coming on and giving us basically information about you. Talking about social injustice and your time and experience at Oregon. So, thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, man, no problem, Chris. I appreciate being on here, Jalen. Shout out to you, Just Cash. You know what I'm saying? I got the yes sir.
Yes, sir.
In there, but I appreciate you guys inviting me on here. I love to talk anytime. So this is dope that you guys are doing a podcast, bringing people on, talking about financial literacy, mental health. That's big, for real.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Before we completely get out of the segment, Jevon, if you want to, you can give your Instagram out so people can find you.
You can follow me on Gram at Hollywood 2.0. The O in Hollywood and the O in Holly is a 0, so it's H0LLY WOOD 2.0. Yes, sir. Put that on there. It'll probably be like, what I'm saying, right around here, anywhere. But go follow me on that, and awesome, cool.
Yes, sir. Jalen, you want Just Cash?
Follow Just Cash Clothing. You feel me? Got all we in the office with it. Go follow that. Go. We'll have a link to my online store as well, and follow me on Instagram.
Yep. And follow me on Instagram, crzola_19, and also make sure you check out www.empowerlv.org. And we are out.
Sure.